Hello BookTube! Welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. This is a review of Europa Journal by Jack Kessel. This is the second in a series of reviews about books by authors I know. The first book review I did by an author I know is Billy the Dragon by Timmy Bauer, one of my co-workers, and I will link that video down below. But this is a review of Europa Journal. Now, if you followed my channel for a while, you may recall that I read Europa Journal for Booktubeathon. However, at the time, I only had the book on ebook and read it on my computer, and since then, the paperback copy has become available, and now that I have it to hold in my hand, I wanted to tell you a little bit more about Europa Journal, and you might want to read it for yourself. This is the debut novel of Jack Kessel. I've mentioned before that I am a theme park performer, and Jack and I used to be co-workers. He's a very outdoorsy, adventurous, stuntman type of guy. I think he also does martial arts. So I was very surprised to learn this summer that he had sat down long enough to write a novel, much less 3 novels. His second book, Bedlam Lost, is currently available now on ebook only on Amazon, and his third book is due out in 2016. So I was very excited when I found out that his first book, Europa Journal, was available this summer, and I downloaded it and read it, and I loved it. And in fact, I wanted to do a full video review of it then, but I decided to go ahead and wait until I could get the paperback in my hands because I wanted to be able to show it to you. I wanted to be able to kind of look through it again, thumb through it, and just kind of gather my thoughts. Now, just so you know, this video is not being sponsored by Jack Kessel or his publisher. I just simply enjoyed the book and wanted to tell you about it. And even though Jack is a friend of mine and offered me a free copy, I just told him that I wanted to pay for my own copy. Now, it's true that I rarely purchase new books. If you've seen very many of my book haul videos, you know that I buy a lot of books from library book sales, and I just really, I enjoy a good bargain. But I think it's really important for us as booktubers and readers to purchase new books occasionally because we want to show our support for new writing talent, and we want to show our support to authors that we love so that they can afford to keep writing. And I think it's important for us to purchase new books as much as possible because of that. So even though I know Jack personally, this is an honest review. Now I did worry a little when I first decided to read it because I thought, what if I don't like it? What am I going to tell him? But those fears quickly vanished because by about the 3rd chapter, I looked up and realized that I was so into the story that I had just completely forgotten who wrote it or that I even knew the author or anything like that. I was just completely engrossed in the story. So Europa Journal explores what may have happened to all of the planes and boats that have been lost in the Bermuda Triangle. It starts out with our crew of a space shuttle, and they are crash landing somewhere. We have Commander Mackenzie O'Brien, otherwise known as Mac, and her pilot, Lieutenant Leo Dalton, who is perhaps her future son-in-law and is the comedy relief in this book, and then their flight engineer, Tae Young. And the first chapter literally leaves us in a cliffhanger, and I mean literally. And chapter 2 takes us back 48 hours. It is the year 2168. The spacecraft is the Explorer 2, a deep space cargo transport, and it is orbiting Jupiter's smallest moon, Europa. Now, in the year 2168, there has been a small colony formed on the icy surface of the Europa moon near an ocean where thermal imaging has detected a 5-sided pyramid under the water on the ocean floor. So an undersea base has been built near the pyramid, unbeknownst to the public. It's top secret. Commander Mac and her crew are getting ready to land on the Europa moon to bring supplies. Just before landing, she gets an urgent message from her friend Joan, who's the scientist in charge of studying the underwater pyramid. And inside the pyramid, Joan has found in one of the inner chambers a corpse wearing a World War II uniform and dog tags, and also with the corpse is a journal. She has run a check of the dog tags and determined that this pilot was on a 1945 rescue mission in the Bermuda Triangle and disappeared. So along with the corpse is a diary. Whatever the doctor has learned from the diary has her freaked out. She has barricaded herself into the pyramid and will not let anyone in, and she has a weapon. And so as soon as Mac and her crew land, they quickly send Mac in. They go down the elevators, down under the water, tell Mac that they need her to help defuse the situation and try to get the weapon away from Joan and whatever has made her freak out, to try to get her calmed down. Because apparently Joan has discovered some very frightening, world-changing information from this diary, and she's trying to stop this from happening. To the rest of them, it just seems like she's freaking out. And so when one of the other officers gets a shot, he takes it and shoots Joan. So of course Mac is upset about that and just trying to figure out what to do. Meanwhile, Tay and Leo are very curious about everything that has been going on down in the pyramid, and so they have snuck into this inner room where the corpse is and start looking at all the hieroglyphics on the wall. And Leo starts to touch stuff. Well, he starts touching these symbols and they start lighting up, and then the ground starts shaking and a quake starts. So then start evacuating and getting everybody back up the elevator, and everything is just chaos, and they race back to the ship, hurry and take off, and they see this arc of light shooting up through, coming up from the ocean from where the pyramid is. And they hurry and try to take off because the whole surface is quaking. As they start taking off, it just feels like they're not getting anywhere, and they flip on the back cameras and they see that they're being pulled into this arc, which it turns out is a wormhole. So that is the explanation of why they're crashing in chapter 1. So now pause again, and the third chapter tells us about Harry. Harry, if you remember the World War II pilot, there was a corpse in the inner room. That's Harry, and we get to learn about Harry. He's actually one of the major characters in this book, and he's awesome. We get to learn a little bit about his backstory, and then once we kind of get everything established, then the story goes on from there, and it's incredible. So I don't want to give too much away. Everything I've told you really is in the first couple of chapters. There's just so many elements all rolled into this fabulous book. It has space travel, time travel, historical fiction, mythology, religion, survival, aliens, other worlds. I mean, all of these elements are rolled up into one complete package, and it's so exciting. And as you're reading it and going along, you think, how in the world is this all going to come together in any way? and it does. It's so satisfying. The conclusion is just great. So I love it. It's a fabulous book, and I really hope that you will check it out. In fact, another one of my coworkers was reading it the other day. I walked into work and I saw it laying there, and I was like, oh, how do you like that? And he goes, I love it. And I was like, yay, I'm so glad, it's not just me, because it really is just, I think it's a great book. The characters are great. Mac is very strong, no nonsense. She's female, very strong protagonist, and Leo is a super genius, but he's also the comedy relief. Harry is a very strong character and very likable. The main antagonist is a very strong, formidable character as well. So it all wraps up into just a fabulous story, and there's just so much to it. I can't even begin to go into all of the elements of this book. So I really recommend that you pick it up. You can download the ebook form very easily to your Kindle or phone or whatever, and if you prefer reading a hard copy, then this is available too. I think they're both available on Amazon. So I am looking forward to reading his second book, which is Bedlam Lost. I've already got it downloaded, and as soon as I read that, I will let you know about it as well. So check out Jack Kessel. He's a Goodreads author. You can follow him. If you read Europa Journal and you like it, then definitely you can follow Jack Kessel on Goodreads and see what other books he has coming up in the future. So I guess that's all I have for this video. I hope you will pick up this book. Hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.